This week, I'm spinning up some Chow Chow, so I thought I would show you guys my dog yarn collection. Dog yarn, darn, Cheingora, call it whatever you want. Ever since I started spinning yarn, dog yarn has definitely been like a niche interest within a niche interest for me. So here's my collection of new and vintage dog yarn. Let's start with the dog yarn that I actually made. So all of these are going to be from my dog, Bo. This is 100% Bo. This is 100% dog hair. As you can see, it kind of looks like Angora fiber. At least that's what it reminds me of. It very much acts like a luxury fiber. Dog hair is 80% warmer than wool, so it's actually very similar to a lot of other luxury fibers like yak or cashmere. These are two more skeins that I made. This was before I was really good at spinning the dog hair. I blended it 50-50 with a little bit of sparkly blue and purple merino wool. Next up is the vintage dog yarn. A lot of this is dated in the early to mid 80s, which I'm sorry to break it to a lot of you, but that does qualify as vintage now. A lot of these samples I took the opportunity to organize inside of my little notebook here. And so in this first bag here, I have Ralph the dog is sample number 1, that dark brown sample. We also have some Cocker Spaniel here. And then sample number 3 is Sassy, who is Wendy's Sheltie in August of 1986. That's the main way that I've been dating a lot of these samples. I'm looking at the notes on photos and things that are included with the samples. These samples here are probably my favorite of the bunch. So down here at the bottom, this light one is Poodle. This is by far the coarsest of all of the breeds and samples that I have. And then up here you have the two softest, which I do think is going to surprise some of you. So this little one here is Poolie, which is unbelievably, like, I've never had the good graces of seeing a Poolie dog in person, but their fiber is so incredibly soft. This sample is probably the softest. And then the second softest is a Russian Wolfhound, okay? This Russian Wolfhound sample is so unbelievably soft as well. It's the light gray one on the top, and that one's probably my favorite of the bunch. This one is Malamute. It's surprisingly coarse. That's something I will say. I actually ended up spinning up some of this leftover fiber, and this one was kind of in the middle. It's not the coarsest fiber, but it's not as soft as I expected it to be either. This sample here is actually Shih Tzu. And the Shih Tzu's name was Muffy Pierce. And then this sample here is from a collie. This sample is really, really soft. I am going to try to spin up some of this fiber as well. And this is what that sample looks like. The Chow Chow that I am spinning right now is also vintage fiber. The risk with vintage fiber is that, especially with the finer fibers, there is a little bit of felting. But I feel like it's kind of worth the struggle, because how often do you get to spin something like this?